Hi there. Hey, my name is Lynita and this is Lily's Bubble. I hope you guys are doing well and I'm wishing you all a wonderful week ahead. So, in today's video, I actually wanted to talk about the importance of acceptance. It's something that I think I've taken for granted for the longest time. And for me to actually get to this point, to realize just how important acceptance is, I actually like, cause honestly, like for me to even get here, to be honest, I just realized something, and I started doing this. Like I realized that I had been doing this actually a lot, and that thing being that I found myself complaining a lot about a lot of things that are honestly beyond my control. Some things that you might find that yes, they are in my control, but still I would somewhat be drawn towards like complaining, towards bickering, towards crying about the situation instead of doing something constructive about it. Instead of actually like trying to find solutions for whatever would be at hand. So, recently, it came to my attention actually that I seem to be doing this a lot, and I'm sure a lot of us do it, whether we realize it or not. And the reason for us doing it is because I think is because it's been something that we've done for the longest time. As a child, you complain a lot about literally anything. You would do that, and the older you get, you grow with that behavior because it's something that you've been doing for the longest time, and it's somewhat innately in you. So I guess one would think that it's human nature, which well, it kind of it is. We complain. It makes us feel better. I think we do it because of that. We complain because it makes us feel better, and it makes us feel like, I guess, the victims in the situation, and wanting people to feel sorry for us because, I mean, why is 123 happening the way that it is? I mean, it feels so unfair. Which, it would feel like that, Vele, because, like I said, there are things that honestly are beyond your control that you can't help but complain about. But you find that even things that you are able to control, you still fall on that hole of complaining, that hole of bickering, that hole of making excuses and finding excuses as to why things are happening the way that they are, instead of finding solutions as to like how to avoid certain things, how to like go about, fixing things, how to like basically that, right? So I want to talk about this because, like I said, I had been doing it a lot and I didn't want to own up to it for the longest time. But I want to grow, and like growth is like it's also just you owning up to your shortcomings, you owning up to your mistakes, and actually wanting to rectify those. So I didn't realize for the longest time, like I did say, that acceptance was such a big thing when it came to actually this matter, which is complaining. Because there are things, a lot of things that are gonna happen to us, that we're gonna cry about, especially having looked forward to them, especially having worked extremely hard for, that when they don't go our way, we just can't help but complain about. I've done this a long time, and I find myself still kind of doing it, even though I am aware of it being a problem. I still find myself kind of doing it, but now that I'm actually more aware of it, I'm realizing that um like it wasn't making me okay. I'm realizing that falling in that deep hole of complaining, that deep hole of bickering, of making up excuses and coming up with excuses and crying about all these things, honestly was not making me okay. Like I said, I didn't know why we would do it. I honestly don't know. There must be some reason behind it, but the one that I honestly feel like is actually, I do feel like this is one of the reasons, but there must be a deeper reason honestly behind it. But the one that I do feel like is a reason for most of us to doing this is to make ourselves feel better. We think that if we complain about certain situations, if we make up excuses about them, they are gonna make us feel better, which, truth be told, it kind of does. It kind of does. Coming up with excuses, making up excuses kind of does make a person feel good for that moment. Long term, Honestly, nah. It's like with procrastinating. You procrastinate and you make an excuse as to why you're procrastinating at that moment, because you are getting whatever that you're getting at that moment, which lets you procrastinating. It sounds about right, but later on you realize that, dang, nah, this doesn't feel so good. So now I'm seeing that actually I'm going out of topic, but it's basically that, right? It's just basically that. I just wanted to like emphasize on that. So like I did find myself complaining a lot, and then recently I realized that it doesn't make me feel so good. To be honest, I just find myself dwelling more and more to that and digging myself a deeper hole of complaining, which honestly feels suffocating because it doesn't give me any solution out. It doesn't help me in any way, and nor am I being productive in any way doing that. So ever since, like, so what I did instead is I learned that actually I didn't when I was doing this, I wasn't even aware that I this was what was happening. So basically whenever I would find myself and catch myself complaining, I was just like, look, is there something that I can do about this? Can I fix it? Can I do something about it? And if not, then the only thing that I can do at that moment and that will make me feel good is to just accept it and just, tell myself that if it's hard, tell myself that, um, you know what, this is how things are happening. Like, believe you me, it's easier said than done. It really is easier said than done, which is why I encourage people, even myself, that whenever it comes to that point where like it's not easy for you to accept the situation, rather just pray about it and ask God for the strength to actually be accepting of what's currently happening, because it is not nice for you to look forward to something and for it to not happen the way that you intended for it to, or for you to have worked really hard for something and for it to like just honestly not even happen at all. It's not nice. And barely when that happens, we can't help but feel like it's so unfair and complain a lot. Some even find themselves blaming God about what's happening. I've been there where I felt like it was so unfair. Why is this happening? Where I thought that it was God's doing that things are happening the way that they are. But I remember reading something in the Bible where they said, like, all the bad things that are happening to you, it's not God doing it. God is not the one making all these bad things happen to you. All the goodness and perfection of this world, they all come from God. And ever since I learned that and believing that and trusting that, things have been so much better for me. I feel so much better because now that enables me to be more accepting of the situation at hand. And ever since I did that, it has brought an immense amount of peace in my life, because rather than me complaining and crying about something, I'm now actually looking and analyzing, is there something that I can do about this? But if there isn't something that I can do about this, the thing that I now pray for and try to do is accept. There are situations that are easier than others where I'm able to accept them without even like, finding it hard. But there are those that really and truly I need the strength from God to actually be able to accept them. So I wanted to like talk about this because um a lot of people, I find, like, they find themselves in the situation where they just end up falling in the rut of complaining consistently, continuously, that their life is just based on that they don't even move on from the situation at hand, or the situation that they had before that put them in this position, that now their life is somewhat revolved around that horrible experience, that now whatever, at each and every little thing that they do, now they base it on that. Why? Because they haven't really healed from that. The healing process has acceptance in it. The minute that you start accepting a situation, you can, what, there is even this in denial thing that goes on in the healing process. But the minute that you get to the accepting part, which is actually the end of the healing process, from my knowledge, if I remember properly, yeah, the minute that you get to that part of acceptance, that's when you start to actually heal. That's when things start to actually unravel and make sense to you. That's when you actually start to see the light. Because why? You are accepting that, you know what, things happen the way that they did. I don't have much control over this, but what I can just tell myself and believe is that I'm being redirected. What I can just tell myself is that just trust that you are being redirected, that maybe you're not strong enough for the thing that you wanted at the time, and you still need to work harder into getting better and being better. And God is now still building you so that you're able to so that you're able to oh my carry on and take up on that, you know. So I just like, I really wanted to talk about this because I know, like, I saw a significant change in my life, that for the longest time I would find myself in this rut of complaining, and it would stay for a long time, even times when I would think I forgot about it. But because I never got the chance to really sit down with it and evaluate and really see it through, but rather I was so caught up in complaining, so caught up in the victim mentality and feeling sorry for myself, that I didn't even see a need for me to actually like find a solution for this matter, or even try to understand why things are happening the way that they are. But the minute I started doing that, the minute I realized that there really and truly are things that are beyond my control, I can try as hard as I want to, as hard as I can, but God's way and mine are not the same. And rather, what I can do is just be grateful that I am protected. It's like with rejection, you know, the one thing that I always go about, and that is why sometimes rejection, no lie, reaction can never not be nice, okay? It can never not, like, it's always like a bitter, like a feeling, a bitter feeling, honestly. But whenever I'm faced with that, whenever I am faced with like rejection or feeling like that, I always just tell myself that, you know what, I am being redirected, I am being protected. Clearly, this is not something for me. That's why it's not coming to me. Because if it was for me, then it was going to happen in the way that really, you know, it was supposed to, and according to my plans. But now it's not. Therefore, it's not for me. You know, God knows better than we do. And until we actually realize that, there are a lot of things that are going to make sense to us, and complaining will be a lot less. And you would feel such a load, like a relief off your shoulders from this like burden of complaining, from this like carrying this weight of always bickering, of finding excuses of why this and that, you know, feeling sorry for yourself. At the end of the day, it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't. I've done it my whole life. And to be honest, it had gotten me anywhere. Nowhere. There'll be times when I've just wanted to sit in it and not do anything about it, not find a solution, not find something that's going to make me feel better. There are times when I've sat on it really and truly, and it did anything. But now the minute that I learned that sometimes all you have to do is just be accepting of the situation as is. It's not nice, it's not what you expected, it's a bitter feeling, but the minute you accept it, the minute you actually start to be more understanding, the minute you leave things on God's hands, that's when you find an insane amount of peace. That's when you feel so much better. Stop trying to get things. Stop trying to have control over every little thing, because that could never be. It could never happen like that. I hope that this made sense. I wanted to share it because I know the way that I've been feeling, and like I said, it's not something that I'm very good at all the time, that happens in the way that I would like for it to all the time. There are times when I find myself dwelling in that and complaining a lot, but the minute I catch myself doing it, I go out completely, because I know it leaves a bitter feeling. It's not nice. It doesn't make me feel that great. It's honestly not nice. And now you complaining about the situation, what I've realized when it comes to complaining is that we focus more on the negatives when we're complaining. Because I mean, yes, it's complaining, you know? So obviously you're more drawn to the negatives of the situation rather than you looking at the brighter side of it. So now you dwelling on the negatives, you know, like exactly how's that gonna help you? What's that gonna help you with? Like just sit there and ask yourself that question. For like, me dwelling and complaining and feeling the way that I'm feeling and like crying about all these things, like exactly how's that gonna help me? Because in the midst of me doing this, I'm not really like looking at the brighter side of it, but it's all negative. It's all negativity. So I really do hope that this made sense. If it doesn't make sense, I don't know honestly, but it did make sense to me. And like I said, it's easier said than done. Some things are not, it's honestly easier said than done. And the best thing that you can do when you find it hard is to just put it on God's hands and trust that He knows what He's doing, because He does. And He has a brighter and a greater plan for you, for your life. Thanks for watching. I hope that you guys like this video. Please do like and subscribe. And yeah.